What's happening, guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. It is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, and I appreciate you for joining me. I really, really do. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to all the mods that make this possible. We got a lot to talk about today. Not least of which is MTG just the beginning of Republican resignations. A lot of reporting to suggest that there are a lot of disgruntled Republican politicians considering doing the exact same thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene did, which is just completely walking away from politics altogether. We'll also be talking about, of course, what is somewhat breaking news this morning that I myself am not quite buying. A lot of media outlets reporting that Ukraine has, allegedly agreed to some peace deals, the peace deal, some of which has been discussed by Europe, some of which has been changed since then. It's kind of confusing as to what is actually going on. I won't lie to you guys, even for somebody that tries to cover this on a daily basis. The reporting is kind of contradictory. It's what we're hearing from Trump, what we're hearing from Ukraine, what we're hearing from Europe, what we're seeing being put out. They're trying to make it seem like a deal has been agreed upon, but there's still points, even though it seems like Russia was the one that seemingly rejected Europe's deal. Like it's all kind of confusing, but we'll try to break it down as best as we can. We'll also be talking about the ongoing MAGA implosion that's been happening. Again, that kind of relates to the disgruntled Republican politicians, but we'll be talking about how they are not happy with Trump and Zoran's meeting. They don't like the fact that he kind of kissed the ass of somebody that he was just calling a communist, and I'm sure there's arguments that I've heard on the other side as well, where I would kind of say, even though I think he got the better of him, being Zoran, I don't myself think I would have taken this meeting at all. Right? I don't want to be seen shaking hands with somebody that's connected with the Epstein files, somebody that's said and done the egregious things that Trump has done in the past, especially believing the things that Zoran has said in the past. I can understand some people's frustrations on both sides, but again, this is more to highlight the MAGA aspect of the ongoing civil war. And again, a lot ties back to, Israel, Charlie Kirk, or the Epstein files, like we keep talking about. We might be able to, add Zoran in here as to another aspect as to why MAGA is splitting apart, or, what's going on there. We'll also be talking about, again, confusing reporting coming out from Pokrovsk, Russia, kind of talking about how it's, the battle is done. Pokrovsk has been taken. They now control 100% of the area. Meanwhile, there's other reports to suggest that there are still some Ukrainians, Ukrainian forces in the area, still holding on and still fighting. We'll also be talking about how several major X accounts, as we've been talking about, not only on this show, but people on the left have been pointing out for a long time that these accounts online, these accounts on Twitter that report or purport to be these pro-MAGA, America first, patriotic Americans, not from America, as we'll be discussing and finding out later. And of course, a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I just want to report before, as everybody's kind of filtering in. I know Thursday's show is going to be on Thanksgiving. Everybody's kind of wondering what's happening. It doesn't interfere with my plans. So if you would, if you guys are okay with it, if you're not going to be busy with your families, I'd love to hop on and, at least say happy Thanksgiving and, show my appreciation, and, we can go over whatever's, going on in the news. But, I would like to kind of pop in and say happy Thanksgiving and, let you know what I'm grateful for and stuff like that. But yes, thank you, everybody. I see you guys in there. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you, Petrazi. Thank you, maybe tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. I really do appreciate it. You guys have been fantastic. Today, I turned 40 years old, for Christ's sakes. I don't know how the hell that happened. Yeah, it's a crazy thought. Crazy thought. It's been kind of an emotional roller coaster. I won't lie. I will not lie. I haven't lied to you before, and I won't lie now. But, so, all right, let's get into all of this before I get, all wishy-washy and start thinking about life and shit. We don't want to do that. But thank you, maybe tomorrow. Thank you to everybody that's starting it off in the right way, contributing to the show. We got Venmo up in the corner here where you can contribute $1 or $2. Anything above and beyond that is totally 100% on you guys. All I ask for is, $1 or $2 to help, keep this channel going. You can sign up for a membership just underneath me here on YouTube for about $2.99 for the month. You can gift memberships as well to fantastic people in the chat, or you can sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Brian. It would be a big help, and that also gets you into the monthly Zoom meetings. We have to come up with some dates for next month that I'll be shooting out to everybody as soon as we figure it out. But yes, thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it. I feel great. As long as I can still swing a golf club and sit here in front of a camera and talk in front of a microphone, I think I'm all set. You know what I mean? I still feel like I'm 30, not 40. So I guess that's a good thing. I got that going for me at least, right? Yes, and I appreciate some of the guesses in the chat. I will say some of the guesses on how old I was turning really have flattered me. I really, I really must say 25. Somebody said 25. I don't know if you woke up drinking this morning or if you're just trying to be really, really generous and really pump my tires up for today's show. But I really do appreciate it. Just like I appreciate you, Deb. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I really do appreciate it. But yes, anybody that is in the financial position to do so, I would just kindly ask, if you like the channel, if you appreciate the information, if you find yourself coming back, think about either signing up for a membership or, hitting us out with a super chat or a super sticker. I hate the self-promotional side of this, but it's just, a necessary evil and something that, is if I'm going to continue to try to do this the right way, which is with no ad revenue, no corporate backers, no sponsors, and not selling you any fucking bullshit that I've never tried in my life, but I'm going to tell you changed my life. I think that's the right way to go about doing things. And, as Kyle Kalinske says, there's not that many creators on here that kind of go about it doing it that way. And I know it kind of makes things more difficult for me. It makes things a lot slower to grow, but I do really think that we're building a genuine community here of fantastic people. And, I'm very appreciative of you guys. So, thank you, Slacks. Happy Thanksgiving right back to you, brother. Thank you. And congratulations on being here for 17 months, my man. Appreciate you, Slacks and OG of the chat. We really do appreciate them there. All right, let's dive into it before we run out of time here. If I keep yapping my mouth about my birthday, I don't know if you guys, let's start with this. Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys have been very, very kind, and I appreciate it. I do. But, if I continuously try to read out all the happy birthdays, we'll never get into the show. So, again, anybody that gifts or super chat, hits a milestone, sends a Venmo, stick around to the end of the show, and we go through the whole list. We give you a shout out. We highlight your name. We say thank you. We show our appreciation. So don't think if I don't see it going by in the chat as it happens that I'm just going to miss it and not recognize it, because that's not what we do here at Blunt Politics. I like to recognize all you fantastic people like Nina. Here with the $20 super sticker. Thank you very much, Nina. I really do appreciate you. It's very, very kind of you and very generous of you to donate to, independent media channels like this. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your aggression. And I appreciate you joining us here today. Thank you so much. So fantastic people like that all over are going to get a shout out and appreciated at the end of the show. So thank you guys. All right, let's dive into it, because this is kind of funny. I found this kind of humorous, and I know we all hate, we all hate looking at this guy. Before I do that, let me put this on the screen. I know we all hate looking at this guy, but, it's pretty funny when you see him standing next to a turkey and they have the same exact neck. I never thought that my president would have the same neck as a fucking turkey, but here we are. Donald Trump making a few statements this morning. Again, somehow making it about Joe Biden. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how his brain does it. But speaking and, trying to show, what is supposed to be a speech about appreciation and thanking the troops, yada, 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 all that general bullshit, somehow manages to sneak in something about Joe Biden, the auto pen, and last year's turkeys. Like, he actually told the story. We're not going to dive. Well, I'll probably just show at the end the funny clip where the fucking turkey yells at him. But he actually tells a story that he saved last year's turkeys that got pardoned by Biden. But because the Bidens was signed by an auto pen, that they were, they were erroneous, they were irrelevant, they didn't count, and that he went back and found those same turkeys. I can't even. He found those same turkeys from last year that Joe Biden pardoned with the auto pen, and he saved their lives, because it just so happened that those two turkeys were on their way to the butchers. They were on their way to the haberdashery at the very moment that Donald Trump's men stepped in to save their lives and issue a real pardon signed with a real pen. I shit you not. He said it in this speech. That was actually something that came out of his mouth in this speech. But just take a look at him. We'll look at him waddle up to the stage, maybe hear a few words. And then again, I just want to show you at the end where you can see that they have the same neck. The turkey even looks over and is like, who the fuck's this turkey looking motherfucker? All right, here we go. Sorry. Hit the like button again just to get a couple laughs in, a quick laughs. Let's get on to it because, we got some more, serious. Actually, some pretty good things to report on today. Some pretty positive things. So let's dive into this and get a couple laughs in while we're still here. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel again. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Thank you so much for the happy birthday wishes, and thank you so much for joining me here, spending your time with me. Let's dive into Donald Trump's pod in this one. Oh Jesus, this is it gets more ridiculous by the day, folks. It just gets more asinine and ridiculous by the day. Here we go. All I can think of is right now in this moment, in his brain is like, oh, I'm getting Joe Biden today, baby. I am going to get Joe Biden in this one. He also calls JB Pritzker fat, does the whole like, oh, he's fat, but I'm not going to call him fat. Like it's just totally insane. And she's kind of holding them up. It almost looks like she's holding them up at this point. And I know, like, I didn't want to really get into it, but there's been reporting and, speculation about like a 3-second clip that's been going around of Donald Trump walking around the White House, showing pictures to some little kid. And, there's been a lot of, kind of high profile, people on the left that have been kind of making it out to seem like in my opinion, a bigger deal than it actually is. Like we have so much to go after this guy on, like, a misstep. It didn't seem like to me it led or pointed to anything much bigger. The guy's fucking old. He's fat. He's out of shape. Like there's nothing to say that the guy is going to start getting around better. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have a problem with sometimes like the right almost has a point sometimes in how we pick apart that type of shit. Like it was, I don't know, it just kind of seemed meaningless to me, in my opinion. Again, you guys might feel differently if you know about the clip that I'm talking about. But that all being said, does look like he's kind of, relying upon Melania here for more, stability, if I might add, if I do say so myself. Right, so they go over, they talk to JD, right? So I'll get to where he starts yapping his mouth. We'll hear a few words, and then we'll look at the end where again the turkey recognizes the real recognizes real, basically. All right, check this out.
Full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to 2 handsome Thanksgiving turkeys, and this is their lucky day. This is a lucky day for them. But before going any further, I want to make an important announcement because you remember last year after a thorough and...
But before I go on with this, just ceremonial pardon that we do every year, that's pretty meaningless in the grand schemes. It's just basically so I can get in front of cameras and, basically acknowledge Thanksgiving and tell everybody what I'm thankful for and what they should be thankful for, yada, 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 the rigmarole. But let me pause that for a second to talk about how last year's pardons of the turkeys were null and void. You can't make this up. You couldn't make this up. If somebody in another country is like, what's the most ridiculous thing Donald Trump could possibly talk about today at the Thanksgiving speech where he's pardoning a couple turkeys? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe shitting on the last president and like talking about the pardon of the last turkeys is probably the craziest thing I could come up with. Yeah, but we can't write that. That'll never happen. People wouldn't believe that. No. It did. It is. It happened.
Very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House counsel's office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is?
Yeah, you guys know the Department of Everything. You guys have heard you guys have all heard of the Department of Everything, right? Can you tell me what are the tasks, what are the policies of the Department of Everything that is now, I guess, in the federal government? Is that like what Doge is transformed into? The Department of Everything? Yeah, you can tell this guy's been in office for almost 10 years now. Like, right? Oh, Jesus. The Department of Everything. All righty.
I think that's called the White House.
think that's called the White House. Fuck me. Oh, yay. Okay, here we go. Again, just supposed to be pardoning a couple turkeys, saying fucking thanks for this, thanks for that, and shut the fuck up. You can't even do that.
Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used.
Why are you talking about Joe Biden right now? Like, this guy, I swear to God, he eats, sleeps, and shits Joe Biden. Like, he just, it used to be Barack Obama, right? Somehow Joe Biden has taken over. It's like he's still got this obsession with, any policies that still have Barack's name attached to it, or any policies that he signed into law, anything like that. Like, he still has his problems. But it is like he is just so fixated on Joe fucking Biden, who, again, hasn't been president in, 11 months now? Like, he's okay. Can we, like, at some point get it out of your brain? And, like, it's on you now. It's your responsibility. You can stop blaming other people at this point, which, again, we obviously know he's not going to do, but, which would normal people would probably say in this instance. But no, couldn't help himself, had to not only get it in the speech, but it's written, as you can see, he's reading it, right? And then has to go on and say that the CIA, the DOJ, and Pam Bondi led an investigation into the pardons of last year's turkeys. Fuck. Oh, it's great.
Used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid.
The crowd's giggling. He's dead serious. The crowd's giggling. He is fucking deadly, deadly serious. He couldn't be more serious. He's as serious as a heart attack that unfortunately hasn't come yet. Oh, wow.
As are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than where's Hunter?
Okay, and this is where he gets into the part where he saved their lives. Like, they would somehow, he found these turkeys from last year in the nick of time, because apparently a presidential pardon for turkeys is only good for 1 year. After that, they're up for the chopping block again, I guess. I don't know how that works, but apparently he found them en route to the fucking haberdashery, en route to the butcher, and stopped the vehicle. Donald Trump stopped this vehicle carrying a shitload of turkeys, held up his hand, stopped the vehicle, and was like, "Do you have Giggles and Schmiggles," or whatever the fuck they named them? I don't know. They give them dumb names. Do you have them in there? Because we want them released. They were wrongly pardoned. Oh, I'm sorry if you guys aren't getting a kick out of it like I am, but this is just at some point you gotta laugh, right? And if it's like, at least it's shit on like this level, like it's just mundane, it's just like just ceremonial bull, like this type of shit, like this is when you can kind of, all right, let's fucking, we eviscerate him every single day at every turn. So can we just point and laugh at him for a couple seconds, which is, again, necessary. Laughing helps to heal the heart. So here we go.
No, Hunter's was good. That was the one pardon, Pam, that was good, right? The rest of them are all invalid. I don't know what the hell you're going to do about that, but now we're going to take a little of the joking. That is a mess. But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year.
Peach and Blossom, not Giggles and Schmiggles. Sorry, I misnamed them. I didn't mean to dead name the turkeys from last year. I do apologize. Wiggles and Schmiggles. What do you say? Honey and Bunny? I don't know.
Have been located, and they were on their way to be processed. In other words,
they were on their way to be processed. Like, listen to how he's trying to, like, get emotion into the story. Like, he's trying to get you emotionally attached to these birds, and then tell you that they were just on their way to get their head chopped off before Donald Trump stepped in to pardon them. Yeah, like, you can't write it. You can't make it up. You couldn't. The letter hack could not make this up. As creative as the letter hack is, and shout out to the letter hack. How are you, buddy? I appreciate you. He could not come up with a storyline this fucking ridiculous. Yeah, right. Somebody says, yeah, he signed all 1,600 J6 patents by hand. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Not buying it. And of course, as we all know, he's used the auto pen for different things. I don't know. I don't off the top of my head exactly what they are, but you can be damn sure that it's been used by him. I think we've even pulled up a couple articles to prove that point in the past, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, but he's trying to draw you in emotionally to these turkeys and be like, oh, you know, Schmiggles and Wiggles and Giggles and Diggles and Honey and Bunny. Yep, they were on their way to get their head chopped off until Donald Trump, stepped in. Consider that the 9th war. That's the 9th war that Donald Trump has now stopped in his 10 months, if you ask him, is the great turkey war of Joe Biden's era. Turkey gate. Fuck. Oh, all right. So let's just go to the end. I don't want to take up too much time with this. I'm going to go to the end where he meets the bird, right? Because he goes on and talks about JB Pritzker, yada, yada, yada. It's all nonsense. But here's where he walks over to meet the bird, and we'll take it from there. Then check out the bird's reaction. The bird is not happy to have Donald Trump anywhere near it. Now, if you know anything about animals, you can kind of, you can sense when they're not, pleased, they're not happy, when, the feathers kind of go up. Obviously, if they're fucking squawking and talking and doing their thing, that's pretty much a dead giveaway as well. But, when the dogs do that, you can kind of see the dog's hair go on the back of the neck, the ears go up, you can watch what they do with the tail, those type of signs. If you know anything about turkeys, take a look at this turkey, because again, he recognizes that this ugly bastard in a suit and a red tie has the same neck that he does as well, but somehow he's not on the chopping block, only to receive a pod. Check this out.
Give gobble, waddle. Waddles, by the way, is missing in action, but that's okay. We'll pretend.
And somehow they're so fucking incompetent that they can't even manage to get both of the birds. They have one job, is to get 2 birds there. One job, 2 birds. That's it. You got one job, get both of the fucking birds here for this little 10-minute, 15-minute ceremony that we have. They couldn't even get that. They couldn't even get that done. They only managed to get one of the 2 birds there. Fucking incompetent. Just like this guy is so incompetent as a dictator, so incompetent as an authoritarian. He can't even fucking weaponize the government that he now has full control of to persecute his political opponents correctly. Because, again, Letitia James and James Comey, as we'll talk about coming up next, had their shit thrown out, had their cases thrown out because of the ridiculous incompetency of not only Donald Trump, but the people surrounding him. So, again, can't even weaponize his own government correctly. Can't even be an effective dictator, an effective authoritarian, even if he wanted to be. Just that incompetent. But, yeah, check this out where he meets the turkey, or I guess the turkey meets the turkey.
And Waddle is here. The gift that they've been waiting for. And I'll move over and I will just say very nicely, gobble your pardon. Come on, let's say it in front of gobble. Thank you very much, everybody.
So he's frightened. He's scared of this thing. Like, if anybody remembers the video of him in his office with the eagle, and the eagle kind of goes crazy and he fucking freaks out. Like, he even says it in the speech. Of course, we didn't play it because it's useless, but he says, like, is that bird violent? Do they attack? If so, I'm going to stand over here. So what he does, as you can just see right there, is he wants Melania to go ahead of him. Did you see that? He wants Melania to go first. Check this out. He's like, no, you can go first. He wants to be nowhere near the thing. Watch. Yep, yeah, no, I'm going to stop. Yeah, go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you go first. And she's like, no, fuck, no. I do not like this. I don't go over there with this bird. I do not like this. I like this less than Christmas. Yep, so he's standing in front of the bird. You can tell he's asking dumb questions. Is that the bigot? Like, how big do they get? Are those, like, is that a beak? Why does his neck look like mine? Oh, Jesus. But listen to where he cuts in here and then watch the bird's reaction. Like, the bird right now looks calm, but feathers down, everything's good, neck's down, kind of sitting on its fucking feet like that. Watch when Donald Trump approaches and things like, I don't think so. Yep, it's up already. Here we go. It's already up. So he sits there. He asks about another 14 dumb questions. The guy is surprised that the president is even asking. Again, you can see here the difference, I should say the similarities in the neck, as you can see here by Donald Trump and by the turkey. Very similar neck representation here. But as we go on, yeah, check out the turkey. Look at the feathers on the turkey already. Look at the feathers on the turkey already. They went from like fully down, fully matted to fucking standing on end. Check it out.
Anyway, are you ready? Gobble. I just want to tell you this, very important. You are hereby unconditionally partner.
He's like, shut the fuck up. Like, all right, 3 words is enough, you jackass. I can smell you from here. How about you back the fuck up? That's what the turkey was saying, of course. Do you see Trump's reaction? Take a look at Trump's reaction. Look at Trump's reaction to this. Watch him here.
Unconditionally partner.
The guy's out of his fucking mind. Out of his absolute fucking tits. He is nowhere near reality, nowhere near planet Earth anymore. He is bye-bye on a spaceship, no longer to return to this atmosphere. See you later, gonzo. That's it, Grandpa. That's all. We're going to have to dress you from now on. We're going to have to fucking tell you where to walk, tell you where to go. That's why we put big golden signs everywhere in the fucking White House, because apparently you've been getting lost. But yeah, other than that, everything's good. Everything's good. But yeah, that's where the turkey's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck about Thanksgiving. I mean, I don't give a fuck about Thanksgiving, but I smile. Oh, fuck Thanksgiving. I eat this turkey whole right now. We don't need to cook even. All right, but that was this morning. Sorry, I took way longer than I wanted to on that, but I found it quite comical. I did find it quite comical. I don't know if I've changed since yesterday, now that I'm 40 and as opposed to 30. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I figured we'd laugh at that for a minute. But all right, let's get into his ignorance, his incompetencies, because as I was just saying in the previous report there, because Donald Trump is so fucking dumb, is so fucking stupid, incompetent, and useless. He cannot even weaponize the government that he controls, both the fucking House, the Senate, him as president, and the Supreme Court, not to mention ICE, DHS, and all the other fucking agencies that he's got sycophants in, right? Can't even weaponize his own fucking Justice Department, his own government, to go after and persecute his political opponents correctly as a dictator. Can't even do it. And it's fucking under pure, like, legal aspects, too, that he was fucking caught and this whole thing was thrown out, because both now Letitia James's case and James Comey's case have been dismissed, excuse me. I'm going to put this on the screen. Let's take a look at this quick clip just in case. Nope, not that one. That's not the one. That is, though. But yeah, we'll take a look at this. Obviously, entitled Indictments Against Former Director James Comey and Letitia James have been dismissed. Let's dive into it just so everybody can kind of get up to speed. In case you haven't heard the reason why, I'm sure you've probably heard that this has happened, but maybe you're not kind of sure as to, the exact details as to why they were thrown out. So let's dive into it. I appreciate it. Again, I'm Boston Brian on my birthday, 40 years old. Fuck me. What am I doing? Please hit that like button. Make me feel a lot better about myself. Make me feel like I've accomplished something in 40 years. All right, here we go.
We're coming on the air with some breaking news this hour. A judge has dismissed the cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. It's coming after that federal judge ruled that a prosecutor was unlawfully appointed to her role. I want to bring in our law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, Tom Winter.
So again, because the administration and the people that they appoint are so fucking incompetent, they can't even do it. Like, they can't even appoint the people to persecute their political opponents correctly. Like, they can't even make it that far. Like, they can't even manage to appoint somebody that's on the inside correctly into this case to make it so that they could actually get through with the case. It's just the judge was like, no, you can't do that. What's her name? Halligan, Lindsay Halligan, if I'm not mistaken, was the one appointed by Trump. Of course, the judge ruling illegally appointed here, and they can't even make it. It's just perfect representation, a perfect example of how incompetent this administration is, right? Full control, full power, doing everything they fucking want, anything they choose, wherever they choose, however they choose. But when it comes down to brass tacks and actually, fulfilling their promises to the MAGA base of putting these people in jail, putting, when it started with Hillary Clinton with the lock her up, right? It fled to Barack Obama. It fled to Joe Biden. It went to all of these different, left-wing characters, whether it be, Chuck Schumer, whether it be, you name it, everybody on the left, basically. And now locked them up and wanted to. James Comey, now we're seeing it here. But they can't even do that correctly. Right? They can't even manage to do that correctly. The same thing that they, again, brought up in conversation and pointed to the Biden administration to do for doing, just so that they can get away with it themselves in the future and just can continuously point back and say, no. We're just, I don't know, setting things straight, or, the whataboutisms, pointing back at the Biden administration and what they perceived as political persecutions. That's why they put that into the political zeitgeist, so they could use it in the future, and they can't even do it correctly. Fucking incompetent.
Standing by for us. Tom, if you will, bring us up to date as to how we got here to this moment.
Right. So there's been a number of different challenges that we've had here, Yasmin, to this particular case. And Comey had argued against the indictment on several different fronts, saying that it was selective and vindictive. And then he was arguing against the indictment because he said the appointment of Lindsay Halligan, who at one point was counsel to current President Donald Trump when he was going through his legal troubles prior to the election, saying that appointment was not valid, and arguing that before the court. And so this is just one of
successfully arguing that in front of the court. Obviously, considering the judge has now agreed with his sentiment on that fact and has ruled now that, yes, she was appointed illegally. And again, same thing with the Letitia James case. I'll see if I can just fast forward here because, we got a few things to get to. Here's the Letitia James investigation and why that was thrown out as well.
Given how personal these investigations and indictments were to him, Yasmin, it's not just that Lindsay Halligan, the attorney here, had worked for the president before he became president again and in his White House, but she was handpicked for this role. Folks might remember that it was on a social media post that the president wrote seemingly directly to his attorney general, Pam Bondi, in which he said that Lindsay Halligan was the person who should take on this role. Bondi, the attorney general, then moved quickly, although perhaps too.
That's how you appoint all people nowadays, right? That's just a normal thing in society, in government. There's just appointing people through social media, right? And I don't know if that's the Truth Social post that Donald Trump sent. It was supposed to be as a DM, a direct message, something like a private message to Pam Bondi that he ended up posting on Truth Social somehow. Don't ask me how, but again, not in this reality, not on this stratosphere, so anything can happen at this point. But yeah, it's just incompetency. There's not really too much, again, just because of the illegal appointment, because of Donald Trump's, again, incompetency. I don't mean to continue to reiterate that word, but that's just what it is. It's just what it is. They had the opportunity, had they not fucked up, to at least take this to the next step, or at least get past this stage, and they couldn't even do that. And, we are lucky. We are very lucky, I swear, even though, as much damage as this administration has caused, and Donald Trump specifically, we are very, very lucky that he is as stupid, right? He is as useless and mindless and incompetent and fucking, egotistical and sociopathic and, all the other terms. And we're very, very lucky that he is not, completely genocidal and, one of the worst as far as murderous dictators are concerned. I know he's having effect on millions and millions and millions of lives, but I think that's more of an after effect to him. He's more about enriching himself, enriching his friends, creating some sort of legacy, and then the people can starve and fend for themselves. He's more like a king in that aspect, as opposed to a murderous dictator. So again, that's why these two cases have been dismissed. MAGA is freaking out about that as well. Not happy with the incompetency, not happy with the lack of results here, because again, they've been promised. You got to remember, they've been promised for the last 10 years, right? We can be generous, and the last 6 years at least, that these people were going to see, the back of a jail cell, that they were going to see retribution, that they were going to be held accountable, especially after, you guys brought up in the chat, after the January 6th people were pardoned, right? They were chomping at the bit to get back at Eric Swalwell and, anybody that had anything to do with January 6th. They were dying to get these people in prison, and they've seen nothing, right? going along with, not making the cost of living any cheaper for anybody in this country, not releasing the Epstein files. Again, whether or not the MAGA people are on the pro or anti-Israel side of things, whether or not they believe that Donald Trump or, the Trump administration or Israel or whatever had something to do with Charlie Kirk's murder. Of course, inside the MAGA base, like this is all creating rifts. The Zoran fight, this stuff, Marjorie Taylor Greene leaving, which we should probably dive into. Actually, what should we dive into here? What should we dive into? We'll go with the MAGA accounts, and then we'll hop into a little bit more of the MAGA civil war here and how they're upset about Zoran, considering we covered it on the last show. So let's dive into something that we've been talking about here on the left for a long time that you have to be wary of on social media. Not everything that you see or do or hear on social media is real or true. Obviously, you guys know that increasingly so in the age of AI. In that sort of thing, you got to be increasingly more vigilant on what you're posting and what you're reposting and talking about and sharing. But we've always been talking about bots. So, like, we've always talked about how there were people in Russia and India and Pakistan and people all over Eastern Europe pretending to be, American citizens, trying to get you to believe in that they were MAGA or that they were, pro-Trump or whatever it may be, while also sowing discourse, while also, trying to, start fights in between different factions. And, that's basically what they were trying to do. A lot of these accounts, some of them up to 1 million followers or more. Like, we're not talking about small time, no traffic accounts. We're talking about people that post consistently as MAGA, as American patriots, the same thing that you would expect, whether it's pro-Russian shit, anti-LGBTQIA, anti-transgender, whatever it may be, anti-immigration, that whole thing. As long as they can get out in the discourse some of this discontent and they can sow it themselves, then they're doing their job. But for some reason, Elon Musk, for a couple days on X, found it necessarily, I don't know, maybe we'll hear more in this clip that we'll hear from Kyle. Kyle kind of gives a good breakdown to this as well, so I'm going to play and let him kind of do the reporting on it. But somehow, some way, Elon Musk made it so that on X, these accounts, you could actually see where the accounts was based, what account and where it was based, right? And that went a long way in exposing a shitload of really, really big and really, really prominent right-wing accounts as being either, again, somewhere not even remotely close to the United States or in an area that is in direct, almost a direct enemy of the United States, right? So, I mean, this was very enlightening to a lot of people, but not something that you haven't heard before from people like myself and other people on the left that have been telling you this for a long, long time, that, these MAGA chuds just continue to fall for this bullshit when really it's a fucking, it's a 33-year-old Russian lady named Katerina behind the account, when they think it's a 21-year-old kid named Bob from Kansas who's a pro-Trumper, right? Meanwhile, this person's just finding random pics on the internet to post of American barbecues or, whatever. They're just Googling random shit. And these people are eating it up like it's going out of style, right? So let's dive into it. This is Kyle Kalinske, titled "MAGA X Accounts Exposed as Pakistani Bots in Massive PSYOP." Let's dive into it. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this, but if not, this is a pretty big deal. And I still don't know why Elon would do. I'm curious as to why this happened. So maybe we'll find out here. Again, hit that like button. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. We have the best chat. I'll say the second best chat on earth at this point. We're working our way up. I can't steal that top spot from Hal yet because you guys are all involved in the same chat. So let's all be friendly. I appreciate it. No, but you guys are fantastic. I really do appreciate your support. But let's dive into it. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. Donate if possible. Thank you, guys.
Now, I know you guys have already seen this story, and man, oh man, is it something. A whole bunch of top MAGA influencer accounts
Thank you, Mom.
on X
I see you
are
in
just
there.
Indian bots, Bangladeshi bots, Pakistani bots.
Mom, we're gonna have to give me a call. Call me after the show, Mom, if you're still listening, please. We're gonna do something about something in there. But yes, I see your message. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you very much. You're silly. All right, let's go.
Basically, the entire right-wing movement on Twitter is just all fucking astroturfed. I'm sure some of it are actual individuals who are living in foreign countries who are just trying to make some money. So they run an account and, try to make revenue through X that way. But a lot of them are, part of these massive bot farms. But there's like virtually every big right-wing account is a bot or is paid for, is a foreign entity. And like there were like no liberal or leftist ones. In fact, the only example I saw that they tried to bring up was this Democratic Socialists of America account where they showed that it was not located in the US. But the problem was they didn't pick the actual DSA account. They picked some rando DSA account that only had like 7.
So the one example that they tried to pick that was like somehow a left-leaning or somehow leans towards the left type of account was actually not the real account of the DSA, right? It was actually just a different account from somebody else that may be supportive of them, but outside of the United States, right? Again, trying to do the whataboutisms, trying to point the finger in the other direction when this is almost 100% entirely made up of top MAGA influencers accidentally unmasked as foreign trolls, right? That's just what this is, and they're doing their job. Again, you don't get 1 million followers on Twitter. These MAGA people following you on Twitter if you're not doing something or saying something that they agree with, right? Again, a lot of these from, he says, Pakistan, Eastern Europe, different places like that. It's crazy.
100 followers that, was not the main account. That's the best they could do on the right. And they try to say it's all a psyop on the other side. Are you fucking kidding me? You guys were just unmasked as perhaps the greatest psyop of all time. So let me walk you through this here. This is in the Daily Beast. Top MAGA influencers accidentally unmasked as foreign trolls. A new feature on Elon Musk's X has given deeper insight into the online America First movement. By the way, after all this stuff came out.
So does that give us any answers there? Let's see. Top MAGA influencers accidentally unmasked as foreign trolls. A new feature on Elon Musk's X has given deeper insight into the online America First movement. Why would they specify the America First movement? As we know, if you've been watching the show, we've been bringing up a lot of the battle between Fuentes, Candace Owens, Donald Trump, yada, yada, yada. And, Fuentes has been, eagerly trying to push this America First as opposed to and in opposition to the MAGA movement. So is this, kind of a ploy by like people like, I don't know, like, is this something that backfired and Elon was trying to help Donald Trump by exposing somewhat, these people that determine themselves or consider themselves America First, and it just backfired and we found out all this information on these MAGA accounts? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, because why would Elon all of a sudden implement this new thing on X that exposes so many? And he's got this information, right? Like, he can see where these fucking accounts are based without having to make it public information. So you would like, it's just kind of confusing, right? Like, do you think it was accidental? I see a lot of maybe it was accidental, and then maybe it was not accidental. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I'm right there along with you guys. I'm not going to pretend like I know. It just seems counterproductive, right? It's just, why would Elon all of a sudden be like, yeah, let's put in this fucking coding that totally blows up all of these MAGA accounts? Like, just as we saw, wasn't it just the other day that him and Elon were kind of not buddy, but Donald Trump walked into the room and said hello to Elon. I think that was the first time in a while we've seen them kind of interact like that since Elon said he was in the Epstein files. I don't know. I'm just, you guys let me know in the chat what you guys think. You guys can start a discussion in there. That'll probably be a good way to get the chat going. Why do you guys think this happened? Was it an accident? Did somebody in X kind of want to expose these people? And, maybe somebody's next on the line here? I don't know. Let me know.
And we saw all of these accounts were foreign. What did Elon do? He panicked and he got rid of the feature. He panicked and he got rid of it. See, he naively thought, because he's a dick.
But I don't understand. Like, that doesn't make sense to me either, because like I said, he's got the access to this information. Like, why would he do this and be like, oh shit, all of a sudden, like, I didn't know this was going to happen. Like, it just doesn't, that seems a little fishy to me. He did it, almost seems like it was a mistake, or he found out that somebody that, that worked at Twitter did this or something like that. And, he had to correct the mistake. I don't know. Like you said, it just kind of, it doesn't, no, one plus one isn't adding up to 2 in my book in this one. So that's just, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Shit. And he's a dumbass. He naively thought, oh, if I create this feature, it'll show all the lefties are foreign bots. And it showed nothing of the sort. It showed that all the right wingers were foreign bots.
I don't know. Again, because he's got access. He would be able to determine that before making that information public. Like he could go and say, okay, let's look at these left-wing accounts. Are they from the United States or are they not from the United States? I'm sure he's got access to that fucking information. So he would be able to determine that before making his own people look like assholes. So that's not fucking adding up. That is not passing the smell test either.
So he immediately was like, oh shit, fuck this, back out, abort mission, abort. So here's what they say. Elon Musk's social media site X has rolled out a new feature in an effort to increase transparency and unwittingly revealed that many of the site's top MAGA influencers are actually foreign actors. The new About This Account feature, which became available to X users on Friday, allows others to see where an account is based, when they joined the platform, how often they have changed their username, and how they downloaded the X app. Upon rollout, rival factions began to inspect just where their online adversaries were really based on the combative social platform, with dozens of major MAGA and right-wing influencer accounts revealed.
It definitely seems thought out, obviously, right? This doesn't seem like something that was... I think you can kind of rule out this being somebody behind the scenes trying to do this, because it seems like, I mean, they have a name for it. It's an About This Account feature. It also allows you to figure out when they joined the platform, how often they changed their username, yada, yada, yada. So this is obviously something thought about. Just how could you be that naive? Like, how could you I mean, I guess you can't put anything past the stupidity of both Elon Musk and, you know, the MAGA folk, but could you be that stupid?
To be based overseas. Quote, this is easily one of the greatest days on this platform, wrote Democratic influencer Harry Sisson. Seeing all of these MAGA accounts get exposed as foreign actors trying to destroy the United States is a complete vindication of Democrats like myself and many on here who have been warning about this. Dozens of major accounts masquerading as America First or MAGA proponents have been identified as originating in places such as Russia,
India, and Nigeria. And then it goes on to say, in one example, the account MAGA Nation X, definitely something all these chuds follow, with nearly 400,000 followers and a bio reading Patriot Voice for We the People, you know, playing all the right pots, you know, hitting all the right notes, is actually based in Eastern Europe. But he stands strong with the president and is America First and is a Patriot Voice for the We the People and has 400,000 followers somehow.
India, and Nigeria. In one example, the account MAGA Nation X with nearly 400,000 followers. Guys, that's an account that's almost as big as my fucking Twitter account. And a bio reading Patriot Voice for We the People is actually based in Eastern Europe. And this is one of the themes that you'll see. So they have like a picture of Trump.
You can see just down the bottom of the screen here, it says date joined me 2024, account based in Eastern Europe, non-EU. So not even Oh, Jesus, just gets better by the second. And, you know, whatever you think about, you know, Harry, he's right, because it is total vindication on what a lot of us have been saying on the left for a long time. A lot of why a lot of people have left Twitter, you know, many of which are in the chat now, and amen to you. But, you know, just like I said, it is a complete and total vindication. And they go on here because I think the next one has over 1 million or a million followers.
MAGA Nation underneath them. You know, they have goofy things like American flags in the name, MAGA Nation, American flag, MAGA Nation X, bro. Meanwhile, just completely and utterly fake, as you can see, Eastern Europe, non-EU country.
Yeah, so this next one, an Ivanka Trump fan account, Ivanka News, has 1 million followers, ladies and gentlemen. 1 million followers, which is probably over 1 million, just not 1.1 yet, and frequently post about the dangers of Islam, the threat of illegal immigration, and support for Trump. So again, playing all the right notes, picking on that banjo, bringing everybody out of the fucking woodworks over there on their fucking band, you know, on their farms there. They're bringing all them out of the work, saying all the right things about immigration and support for Trump and Islam and all. We don't want that Sharia law around here. So that account is based in fucking Nigeria. Fucking Nigeria. How fucking awesome would it be to see the faces of the people that follow this account when they find out it is a fucking dark black man from Nigeria or woman from Nigeria actually running this account? A prince, right? This is the new prince scheme. This is the new fucking, hey, I got $72 million in an offshore account I just can't touch. All I need is your 500. But you're going to have to go to all the Walmarts in your state and get me 9 million gift cards. If you just do that and you send them all to this Bangladeshi address, I'd be able to send you at least 2 million, maybe 3. And this is the new This is the new I'm a Nigerian prince scheme that MAGA seems to be heavily falling for and seems to be heavily focused at MAGA, like in particular, right? Knowing that they're the gullible ones, knowing how easy it is to get, on the inside here. But I would just pay. I would, chef, buy my Bitcoin. Fucking chef's kiss to anybody that has footage of these MAGA chuds actively finding out that it's a fucking Nigerian guy behind the Ivanka News. Oh, Jesus, that would be fucking fantastic. That would be like, I don't know, what's the equivalent? That would be like watching like the reactions of the Atlanta Falcons fans, or the reactions of the Seattle Seahawks fans when the Patriots picked it off at the fucking in the end zone to win the Super Bowl, when for some reason they didn't want to give it to Marshawn Lynch and they decided to throw the ball. But yeah, not to rub it in anybody's fucking sore wounds that are still open. But yeah, that kind of reminds me of this. This is similar to that. Well, like watching the reactions of the fans there where they thought they had it. They thought they fucking were in. They finally found this account that they loved and found the right information. And it turns out to be fucking, I don't know, a guy from Nigeria. Yeah, 28-point lead. What? All right. Let's not rub it in too much. Don't get ahead of ourselves. We're 10-2 right now. People already hate us. They hate us because the ain't us is back. I love it. 10-2, and people are fucking pissed. All right, yeah. So let's continue. My apologies, but yes, a million followers from Nigeria. Wish I could see the MAGA faces when they found that out.
And an Ivanka Trump fan account, Ivanka News, has 1 million followers and frequently posts about the dangers of Islam, the threat of illegal immigration, and support for Trump. That account is based in Nigeria. Wow, 1 million followers. Jesus Christ.
So joined September 2010, based in Nigeria, verified August 2024. 11 username changes last on August 2024. I wish I could click on that to see what the previous usernames were. Because if you go if it would be very, very funny to see if you could go back to the first username and have it be like his, the gentleman's or woman's, whoever it may be, their real name. You know what I mean? Whatever, a heavily Nigerian name might be. Like if they could go back to that and fucking just see the faces of the people, it would be fantastic. It really would.
Now, my guess is some of these are bots, of course, right? But even if the account is only 30% that big, that's still a massive account, bro. That's still a huge account. Quote, "This is total Armageddon for the online right," wrote law student and left-wing influencer Micah Irfan. It's looking like half of their large accounts were foreigners posing as Americans all along. Yeah, Micah pointed that out. He's affiliated with that project.
Well, see, you can see there on the right-hand side, you can just make out that it says Groiper, right? Defiant L's. But you can just make out that it says Groiper in the name on the right-hand side. So that's why I don't know, that's where they attach this America First type of thing. So that's the only thing that I can fucking really think of as an angle on this is somehow trying to, thought this would be more directed at the Nick Fuentes Groiper America First type of movement, and they had more bots again, and they were just wrong in what they thought, and had to backtrack and reverse course immediately, is about the only thing that I can think of here, because that seems to be the only threat posed that I've seen. Again, fucking Nick Fuentes talking about his blue hat, America First, as opposed to the red hat, Make America Great Again. That's just the only thing that I can think of. Really, the only thing that I could pinpoint or kind of even suggest to be a reason why they think this would be beneficial to them. There's not even lefties on, I know there's news agencies, and I know there's still there are some fucking people. There's not this whole host that used to be on Twitter of left-wing fucking accounts. You know what I mean? There's not. So who they thought they were trying to expose on this one is beyond me. I think this is more, again, targeted towards right-wing accounts without thinking that it would be the right-wing accounts that were favorable to them. Again, makes no sense, but that's just about the only thing I can think of.
Liberal group, and here he has Defiant L's foreign account, Red Pill Media foreign account, Dark MAGA foreign account. While about this account went live on Friday, X's head of product development, Nikita Bayer, noted that the change had a few rough edges, which they are planning to smooth. Information around account location, for example, could be altered with the use of a VPN, something Bayer has said the company is planning to resolve. users on X reported the tool being taken down just hours after it went live, with some speculating that the uncovering of the origins of far-right accounts may have something to do with its removal. Oh, you don't say.
I was going to say no shit, but still, like, do you think the people at X were fooled by the VPN and then once it went, no, because they would have to be able to see that information before it went out. So I'm not even going to allow myself to suggest that. All right. So moving on to our next topic, moving on to our next story, because, that is very unsurprising, but very telling at the same time. But just continues to flow right into the same talking point that we have been kind of touching on this show for a long time here, which is the ongoing battle in MAGA, the ongoing just degradation of the MAGA base, the separation of the MAGA base. I don't know. You think of another word that would be good with it, but go for it. But yeah, so this is MAGA implodes as Trump and Zoran become best friends and Marjorie Taylor Greene resigns, right? So again, we could possibly add this whole Zoran thing onto the list of things tearing apart MAGA, absolutely. But again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we'll go on to discuss because there's reporting to suggest coming out now, ladies and gentlemen, this being one of them. Well, you can see here at the top a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend, and this is Jake Sherman, saying that they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term, right? So that would be fucking massive, massive news. I mean, depending on how many, depending on who, like if it's enough numbers to get us, enough the House, like automatically get the House back. Who, like, what's going on here? Like we're talking bombshell territory. If enough of these people, and it goes on to talk about how disgruntled these people feel, how they're being bullied by the Trump administration, they're not being allowed to, report successes themselves, and it's all going to the Trump administration. Different reasons here, Epstein files, but we could be seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene just be the first of many Republican politicians to walk away from politics because of Donald Trump, because of what's happening right now in this government. So let's just dive into a couple minutes of this. We're going to skip around a little bit because in the beginning he talks about the meeting with Zoran, which we covered, and we can just touch base and look at how upset they are at the interaction here. And then in the second half he talks about MTG, and then we'll go on to talk about and look at that Jake Sherman reporting that he had. And then afterwards we'll be diving into, of course, the not now breaking, but this morning breaking news that Ukraine has allegedly agreed to some sort of European counterproposal. Again, I'm not buying it. I don't see it. I know the Ukrainian parliament still has to okay any of these territorial shifts or demands or whatever, and they're not going to do it. And I don't see Russia, especially since it was already reported that Russia rejected the European. So we'll take a look at it. It's a confusing situation. But before we get too lost in that sauce, let's take a look at this. Again, this is the ongoing look at the MAGA implosion, in its own ranks, in its own base. So please hit that like button if you're in favor of MAGA splitting apart. If you like seeing, the problems that the Republicans are now facing and how badly this is now going for them, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm Boston Brian. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again for all the happy birthday wishes. You guys have been fantastic. Please, again, Venmo up in the corner. You can see it just up here. $1 or $2 is all I ask for. Memberships down here just underneath me. You can hit the join button. Subscribe to the channel for, subscribing is free. You can become a member to the channel for $2.99 or join us on patreon.com/Boston Brian. Thank you guys very much. Let's dive into it.
A lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job.
Looking at, just in case anybody's unfamiliar, joining us for the first time, we're looking at basically MAGA commentators that are frustrated, that are pissed off with not only Donald Trump and his handling of, his relationship or the meeting with Zoran Mandami, we should say, but for multitudes of other reasons. We've kind of pinpointed 3 of them on this show as being, Israel. There's a pro and anti-Israel side and faction of MAGA. There is the Epstein files where, people supporting Donald Trump still and the side that want them released at all costs. And then you got kind of the Charlie Kirk, which has somewhat faded a little bit, so the Zoran might be able to take that, but there was the Charlie Kirk conspiracies with Candace Owens, going back and forth with Ben Shapiro, and that really it hasn't faded to the point, to the extent that MAGA would hoped. It's still kind of cooking in the background, but we've heard less of it with more news going on now in other areas. So let's take a look at this again. MAGA commentators not happy with the way Donald Trump went about this meeting.
I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay
Again, MAGA commentator with this representation of Fox News after this meeting, as Fox News being in disarray, right? Being in shambles, going crazy. Of course, you can see here with The Office. I might have to skip by it. I don't know what's going on with copyright there. I'm not as, I'm not as trustworthy as he might be with what's going on here on YouTube. But so he's just trying to get across that people are freaking out on the MAGA side, on the Republican side, especially in the media after this. So let's hear what he has to say about this.
Yeah, it's probably a tough day over at Fox News right now. Extremely bizarre day in American politics yesterday. Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned from her seat in Congress following a bitter fallout with Donald Trump, him calling her a traitor. And in the exact same day, Donald Trump and New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani have become literally best friends. Wow. 2025 is super weird. So we're going to talk about each of these things today. All right. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. As again, out of nowhere, it seems, she has resigned her seat in Congress, but there's three potential options here that may be on the table that people haven't really looked at yet that we're going to take a look at. But first, we're going to see her response and why she said she's stepping down.
Standing up for American women who...
So we don't have to go through this. I think you've seen it enough in clips and heard it from her mouth.
Comes down to two main issues, nothing beyond that whatsoever. First one, she has been a huge advocate against the pro-Israel lobby.
All right, so this is a MAGA commentator, in his words, in his mind, telling you why he thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene, the 2 points that he thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene left over, right? And those 2 points pretty much line up exactly with what we've pinpointed here at Blunt Politics as being at least 2 of the 3 major sticking points between these MAGA commentators, the politicians. So listen here, listen up. The 2 examples he gives is Israel and Epstein.
One, she has been a huge advocate against the pro-Israel lobby. And number 2, she was one of the leading people forcing the vote for the Epstein list to come out. That's it.
So he says that's it, right? So basically, she's leaving because they don't like her stance against Israel, and she's fighting too hard to have the Epstein files released, right? So 2 of the 3 points again that we've pinpointed here that are the main reasons as to why we're seeing MAGA split up right now.
And you can see some of this right here.
The whole propaganda machine that has been spoon-fed to Christians, whether it's in the pews at church or Bible study, or coming through the television or through their politicians' mouths, that we have to do everything for Israel. That's the only way we're going to go to heaven. America will be cursed if we don't.
So again, he's just playing examples as to why he thinks. He plays her not taking money from AIPAC. Goes on to talk about that, but then he goes on to talk about Zohran Mamdani's meeting in the end of it too. And then we'll go on to talk about, again, whether or not Marjorie Taylor Greene might just be the first of many Republicans to be walking away from Congress, to be walking away from politics because of Donald Trump's either involvement with the Epstein files, his blocking of the Epstein files, his treatment of these Republican politicians. One thing or another is now being reported is leading to a lot of these Republican politicians now considering walking right behind Marjorie Taylor Greene through those doors and never turning around. So again, let's see what he has to say here, how upset he is about the Zohran meeting, and then we'll go on to Jake Sherman's reporting of the, again, ongoing battles.
Thanking her for all the support over the years. Trump said Marjorie traitor face
right.
decided to call it quits. Right here? Her relationship.
Sorry, I don't think I actually clicked on the spot. There we go.
Genocide right in front of everyone with zero pushback. Bizarre. Let's take a look at some of the best clips from the day.
A lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And again, on the left side, I've seen this argued both ways, and I can see this kind of both ways as well, right? I myself would have never taken this with my stance on Donald Trump. I would have never taken this meeting with knowing what he's been involved in, knowing there's going to be a picture somewhere in there of you shaking his hand and smiling, even though I do believe he got the better of the, at least optics, in this meeting, at least of what Donald Trump kind of said himself, put him down a couple notches with his own base. I do agree with that part, but I also would have respected, a more confrontational approach to this as well. Let's just say, right? If he had gone in there and, also expressed that he believes he's a fascist still, but, kind of showed more anger as to what he's been doing and how he's been treating the people of the country. I know he still has to be somewhat pragmatic. I do understand that it's a tricky position, so that's how I can see it both ways. But I can see why people would be kind of upset either way as to him, taking this meeting and having this opportunity and looking as friendly as he is, even though he did again reiterate when he was asked that he did believe he's still a fascist. I understand, but that was because Donald Trump allowed him to say that, right? I don't think, if you hear in the clip, Zoran really started off with a more political type of answer, and then it just, Donald Trump just allowed him to say yes, and that's what he did, right? So I can see it both ways on both sides, but again, I think this is much more detrimental, in my view, to Donald Trump standing with MAGA than it is with Zoran standing with any of his supporters.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big
thing. You can see the shock. You can see the kind of the reaction that he's having just above my head here, right? Where he's kind of like, he's blown away. He's shocked by what Donald Trump is saying, which is basically the consensus of the right-wing reaction here, especially if you look at the right-wing media's reaction.
On cost, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. It's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. He doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. And he said some things.
I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. Anybody else catch that? Anybody else catch that little slip there? I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. I know what he meant to say, but of course the brain, while it's leaking out of your ears, it's tough to get it, get your mouth in sync. So again, just not even getting the words out correctly anymore.
Very interesting as to housing construction, etc.
Right, but you guys get the point. They're not happy with it. We don't have to go into too much of this. You guys have seen the clips from the meeting. You've heard the reaction from both the right-wing media, but now, obviously trickling down to the commentators here, trickling down to, the accounts on YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else, that these lower, not the lower class, but, the smaller people in the MAGA front watch. But let's dive into this reporting, because this is huge, I believe. This is fucking massive. If true, if real, if it happens, is massive, right? This would be, I don't know, I think the biggest kick to the balls of Donald Trump yet, if this were to take place. But this is Jake Sherman reporting on X that he says a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying that they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican. So particularly exercised, I would assume, means, long lasting, somebody that's been in there, somebody that's been, where he says exercised, I would say used and abused, maybe. So not somebody that is new, but somebody that you would probably recognize their name, is what I'm assuming, what I'm getting from that, at least wording on that. So he says, quote, this entire White House team, and this is the Republican in quotes here. This is what the Republican is saying. This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. Okay? This is what the Republican is saying now to Jake Sherman. The entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. This is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are running roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms, which is fucking a huge statement. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. Boom. God, I don't know if I can impress upon you how fucking big that would be. I mean, if we got fucking, 5, 7, 10, 15, who knows? I don't know. Just saying, Republican politicians ready to be like, nope, F Donald Trump, I'm out of here, baby. I'm giving up my cash cow. I'm giving up my insider trading abilities. I don't want that anymore. I'm going to go take a more cushy job in the fucking, on the private sector, right? Because I'm not dealing with, Donald Trump when these Epstein files come out. I'm not dealing with my constituents when I go back and have to explain as to why we haven't released these Epstein files or whatever the complaints may be. But goodness gracious, Miss Molly, boy, oh boy, this would be fucking massive. Again, a report here, Jake Sherman reporting on X that Marjorie Taylor Greene may just be the first of many GOP politicians to walk their fucking ass right out of politics because of the way that this White House is treating them, handled certain things. I'll read again. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican, and I quote, "This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage." All in caps. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. This is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members now know that they are going into the minority after midterms. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. Now, if you can't fucking hit the like button for that, if you can't subscribe to the channel for that, I don't know what you will subscribe for. Good God, that would be great. So, what time we got? 12:13. Yeah, there's actually, I do believe just in case you get some free time today, or during the week with your friends and family, I do believe Jen and Pumps from the I've Had It podcast also were touching on this. I didn't get a chance to see it before I hopped on, but I did see. I think that they posted something about this, if I'm not mistaken. So, that would be great to see. That would be great to see, and I think it's kind of the way that we see things going. Right. There's only so many times that these politicians can go back to their fucking constituents and face them and look them in the eyes and try to lie to them about, why the Epstein files haven't been released, why grocery prices haven't come down, why, the grants, the federal grants and, the aid money that their neighborhood was supposed to see hasn't filtered in yet. Why USAID has seen cuts, why there's been cuts to research of fucking cancer research into children, right? Why people on fucking food stamps have been fucking shunned. Why people, millions are threatened with removal of healthcare. What's going on here? There's only so many times these politicians can go back and they spend a fucking whole lot of time back in their constituencies, right? Back talking to their people and instead of doing work, considering this House, right? This Congress has passed one fucking piece of legislation. I think it's the least amount of legislation by I don't know how many times now that any Congress has passed. I mean, we're usually in like the 300s, 400s, 500s, 600s of bills passed, of legislation passed by Congresses. We have fucking one. And they're trying to like somehow get this in and it's like a slam dunk and they're killing it with the economy and shit. Nah, ain't happening, brother. And guess what? Your own politicians ain't buying your bullshit either. And they only know that because their constituents aren't buying their bullshit when they go back in. So it's forcing people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And again, I'm still not fucking sold that she doesn't have something bigger planned down the line. But I guess time will tell. But it's forcing people even of that prominence in the MAGA base to say, nope, I'm out. Sorry, ain't happening. I'm with the victims on this one. You're not helping. You're in the way. You're a roadblock. You're an impediment. And I, at least in her words, she says she finds that disgusting. So, again, time will tell what's to see on that one, but, definitely good to see that reporting, especially from the mouth of somebody senior House Republican, right? So exercised senior House Republican. So somebody that's been there, somebody that's, established, we'll say. So, good to see there. So, all right, let's dive into what's going on here with this breaking news, I guess, alleged breaking news that we're talking about. Let me put this on the screen, and then I kind of I'm trying to figure out which way to go with these clips that I have here and how to play them in what order and what would be sense. But all right, let's just play this clip. That way I can get you up to speed on what at least the reporting is coming out this morning about this, reported agreement to the peace deal. Again, I'm more than highly skeptical. I think it's, irresponsible reporting. I think it's ridiculously worded because, again, I don't know how that's even possible when, again, the Ukrainian parliament has to agree. There are still huge things that have to be worked on. Russia didn't seem to agree on the European changes that we're going to go over. Like, the whole thing is fucking nuts. And not to mention, like, it has not instilled me with confidence. Like, I have not, and I hate to bring this up and I hate to, be a Debbie Downer in this situation, but it's crazy to me. It's asinine to me that we're actually using what we know to be a Russian document that was written and thought of and fucking benefits Russia and Russia only, that we as the United States and as the European Union, as people meeting all over the place, are now using that as the basis of peace talks, of the negotiations. Like, there's no other agreement somewhere written with ideas. There's no piece of paper somewhere with ideas that have been talked about between the United States, between the European Union, between NATO, that has a list of what, the Ukrainian demands would be or what NATO demands would be to the Russians, that we could start from there. Like, shouldn't that be the starting point? Like, I'm so baffled as to why we would be so eager. And it just, to me, just shows because of the lack of leadership in the United States, and because of the, in the absence of leadership and in the absence of any other, what seems to be any other deal or ideas set forth by the European Union, by NATO, by, the United States, that we're just willing to use that fucking Kremlin wish list as the starting point, as the, the basis for the negotiations, and to go from there is just wildly fucking frustrating to me. But yeah, this is what's being reported. You can see down below, Ukraine reportedly agrees to U.S. peace deal terms, right? So we'll go on after. We'll talk about what the European counterproposal was, and then maybe how that's changed. But again, I don't see this being, I don't see this being somewhere, close to being done, in my opinion. I could be proved to be wrong. I know Zelensky's talking about setting up a meeting this week with Donald Trump, but I don't know. I have to fucking hold my reservations. I have to kind of stay skeptical on this one because of still what needs to happen, what needs to be approved by the fucking Ukrainian parliament. And of course, what I know they won't approve, and what I know the Russians won't approve, which is, again, we'll take a look at it here. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. Let me know if you think this kind of coincides with, again, the reporting that, the Russia has kind of conquered Pokrovsk, and we'll be taking a look at that. We'll take a look at a deep state map as well. That kind of shows a different story. But all right, let's dive into this before we waste any more time. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I really do appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you for your time, especially in this week that you guys are spending with friends and family and have so much to be thankful for. So appreciate you guys.
This morning, a major step towards ending the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine as the deadline for Ukraine to accept that peace agreement gets closer. It's on Thursday. Taking a live look this morning.
But again, is that even a real like, what is that? Are they treating that as a real deadline? I don't understand, because I thought that even after that, Donald Trump had said that this isn't the final, like, this wouldn't be the final word. So why are we still pressing Ukraine to agree to a deal that is not formulated yet by a certain date? Like, how does that make sense? And I don't know, maybe Zelensky's just coming here and maybe wanting to, like, get fucking clarification, make sure that this isn't getting, miscommunicated across channels. I don't know. But again, a lot still has to happen. I know anything that is helpful to Ukraine, Russia's not going to agree to, right? And anything proposed by Russia is going to only benefit Russia, so that Ukraine won't agree to that. And that's just where we are. I don't know. Maybe we're getting a little closer, but it seems like the basis of this was the Russian wish list, so that Ukraine started off on the fucking back foot to begin with, which is not something that, we want to see or should have been undertaken that way, in my opinion.
For you over the White House, the U.S. and Ukraine have agreed to a new plan. This is a 19-point plan, down from 28 points earlier this week, all drafted by the president. Here are some of the changes that we know of so far.
All right, so just right off the jump, the first one, and I agree with it. I love it. Ukraine to keep Donbas territory. I love it. Great for Ukraine, right? Love that it's in there. Russia's not going to agree to that. They're just not going to agree to that. right? The option for Ukraine to join NATO, love it. Very different from what was reported in the Kremlin wish list, which gave them absolutely no ability to ever join NATO, and it actually had to be enshrined in their constitution. Now that's been changed to they do have the option to join NATO. Russia's not going to go for that, right? No limit for Ukrainian military. Another change, which was limited to 600,000 in the Russian wish list. So now no limit for the Ukrainian military. Great, all awesome to see. Russia's not going to fucking agree to it. That's just the period, point blank, right? So that we're already at a crossroads. So I don't know. That's why I don't understand the wording of the reporting. I think it's very fucking irresponsible reporting. I know everybody's trying to get ahead of it. I know everybody wants that, that first headline of the peace deal. But I think it's very fucking dangerous to make it seem like we're any closer in this. It's giving people false hope, which inevitably, when they see this war continue on, if and when it continues on, they start getting more and more frustrated because they had that, the hope, there was that ability that we had to end it then, but we didn't, and it's still going on. Like you get that war fatigue that happened in the United States during Vietnam, which was, inevitably led to the soldiers coming back and getting spit on and, disowned as opposed to, fucking lauded and fucking, welcomed with open arms and stuff, right? With cheering crowds and parades like they did in World War II, right? So that's, you can see how it has its effect, which is why I have the problem, which is why I started this podcast to call out this type of bullshit with the mainstream media so we could dig through what's actually happening on the ground and kind of report it back to you folks, so I can learn myself, I'm right there with you.
Ukraine would not have to give up the Donbas territory. That was a pretty big sticking point all along. Ukraine also would not have to put a cap on its military, so that's another big one. And the option for Ukraine...
I'd be right there willing to believe you. Who said that? I think it was Stagmus. Yeah, I will tell you that this is just a bullshit story for Thanksgiving, but these are, like, the Europeans met, right? And they used that Russian wish list as the basis for their counter proposal, as opposed to which I would have hoped to, especially this far into this war, that they would have a fucking list of fucking demands a mile long, already ready to go, ready to give to fucking Russia if they haven't already, and saying, listen, you guys are the aggressor. You've kidnapped all these children. You've committed these war crimes. You started this shit. Here is the list of our fucking demands. How about we start there? All right. And then we can go from there and work down where you fucking see this works. But we're not starting with your demands. Like, why would we do that? So I would be very, likely to believe you and to agree with you if it was just coming from the U.S. But this isn't just coming from the U.S. This is seemingly being, worked on. I mean, look at this. I can put this on the screen. This is the full text of the European counterproposal to the Ukraine peace plan right here, right? So this is from the 23rd. And apparently even this has changed. And, we don't have to go through this all right now because there's a video that we're going to watch where they break it down pretty good and go through the points. But this, you can see how it's changed already, because this is the size of Ukraine's military to be capped at 800,000 in peacetime, where we just saw reported on the screen that now now there's no limit for the Ukrainian military, right? So obviously that's changed. What else has changed? Just off the top of my, just as I can pull out here. I mean, I'm sure there's a few things, and we'll go over it, but like, who changed those since the European counter-proposal? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm kind of curious as to, how this has all gone down. So let's see if we can get it in here. I know there's a few different people that we're going to be checking in with to kind of get their insights as to what they know about this.
To join NATO would be on the table. Now, all of this is ongoing as Russia continues its attacks on Ukraine,
which is a huge fucking talking point. Right? How willing are they? How does it show us that they're willing to commit to peace? Are they willing to commit to peaceful negotiations? As again, they're night in and night out killing Ukrainian civilians, right? That's why I think this is there's like something going on here that this is looking like fucking some Russian fuckery is going on here, and it's kind of being almost rewarded in this sense because. Like this, it coincides with, again, them reporting that they've taken 100% of Pokrovsk, using that to their advantage, still attacking every night. I'm just not buying it. Doesn't seem like, right now Russia is on the back foot enough I know their economy is on the ropes. I know they're using everything to get this, war continued going. I know they're over 1 million dead soldiers. I know all of that, but I don't think that they give a fuck about any of that. I really don't. As long as they have enough, they can rob Peter to pay Paul to keep this war going. I just don't think they're on the back foot enough to agree to, or to be forced to agree to any of those deals, like where they be willing or in the position to have to agree to any of those things, which is why I don't know why it's being reported by this guy that looks like he's got a fucking, I don't know, $1 million Rolex on. Who's this guy? What channel is this? Christ's sakes. How can I be a reporter on this channel? Look at that thing. Unless that's like one of them Trump watches. But anyway, let's see if we can dive into the next thing that I want to say. And this is kind of, I don't want to say just to kind of say I told you so, but we played this on Sunday's show, and I kind of had some disagreement with Preston about this U.S. peace plan. He was kind of skeptical as to whether or not it was just clearly a Russian document written by Russia in Russian. He was kind of giving the United States and Donald Trump and his his cohort the benefit of the doubt, which I was not willing to do, ready to do. And I was kind of proven right in that aspect. This is just kind of a little bit of an I told you so, as well as a little bit of more insight into this peace plan. So if we can dive in just a minute of this, and then we'll go on to Ukraine Matters, really kind of breaks down the counter proposal from Europe. And we'll get into that as well. And then we'll get into some of the frontline action in some maps from Deep State, looking at what's actually happening on the ground in Pokrovsk. So please, Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava, hit that like button. If you also support Ukraine, if you also support Zelensky, where is he? You can see him in the background there. You can see him in the background there. Obviously, you'll see it on the TV. Anybody that's been following the channel for a long time, you can see my beautiful Ukrainian vase here, which is, very, very nicely sculpted, beautiful. Got even on the back. Got a nice sunflower. Look at that. I mean, it's beautiful. It's sculpted, painted, beautiful. So anyway, just in case you're curious what side we stand here, it's the right side of history. All right, let's dive into this video and see if I can kind of just get my, my patting myself on the back end, and then we'll dive into a little bit more.
Just decided to go with it. Even having multiple senior officials get on board defending it as the only viable option forward, saying that Ukraine had no choice but to accept. But then yesterday, senators were told by Secretary Rubio, quote, "This is not our plan. It's the Russian wish list."
So, right, he's kind of reiterating and just kind of jogging everybody's memory as to the back and forth. The one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing in this situation as far as Donald Trump, as Marco Rubio, the senators, Steve Witkoff. They don't know what's going on, whose document it was. There was counter fucking reporting going on. Marco Rubio said about 25 different things. So, I was, like I said, I was not willing to give this administration the benefit of the doubt, knowing what I know about them, having covered them as long as I've covered them. And again, just kind of, prove to be right in this situation.
And look, I genuinely don't know what's worse, that we may have taken word for word the Russian wish list and tried to write it off as the U.S. peace plan for Russia and Ukraine, or that...
Which is exactly what, not just that, Preston, not just that. We did that, exactly did that, but we also attached onto that wish list from Russia threats, active threats from the U.S. government of withholding intelligence and weaponry from them, from an ally. Again, we basically took, I don't know, I hope that I explained this well, because I think I'm doing it in a good way because of my knowledge and, love of history in World War II. But okay, so it's 1940, right? France is conquered. Nazi Germany has taken over France. They're on the fucking shores of France. They're looking at the white cliffs of Dover, right, through their binoculars, through their fucking little telescopes they got, right? They just can't get over there because they're just not an army built for that. But anyways, the Britain is fighting for its life. It's defending the skies over London in the Battle of Britain, right? The Luftwaffe is coming in nightly, attacking RAF bases, switching after a certain period to attacking London and attacking cities like that. And what we did is, in that moment, the United States took the Nazi wish list, the Nazi list of demands, and we attached threats onto that, and then we handed it to Winston Churchill and said, you have till Thanksgiving. I know that's in 3 days, sir. My apologies. But you have till Thanksgiving to agree to this or else, right? Even though, just like in 1940, Germany was in no fucking position to invade the Isle of Britain, even though it was thought, very much otherwise at the time. Little did they know that the Kriegsmarine wasn't set up for that. The Luftwaffe wasn't set up for that. They were more a combined military to work in conjunction with one another, as opposed to the Luftwaffe working by itself, the army working by itself, and the Marine working by itself. They're more, a land-based military. But anyway, that's a different discussion. But what we did is it's same thing here, because it would take Russia at this rate some 15 to 20 years to accomplish its goals completely in Ukraine at this rate. And it would cost them, I don't know how many millions of soldiers. But we just forcefully fed more threats, added onto a Russian wish list, a Nazi wish list, and handed it to either, our ally in Ukraine or our ally in Britain. Whichever one kind of gets the story, the point across to you more, go with that one, because that's what we did.
The Russian wish list is seemingly close enough to what the U.S. wants that those could be confused in the first place. Jury's still out. I'm not entirely sure where I fall on that one. Now, as a little background here, Barack Ravid over at Axios, who we're going to hear more from here in a moment, broke this story a couple days ago when he received a leaked version of this 28-point plan. He said, quote, the plan was drafted by Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, with input from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And this document was wild. We ran through it in yesterday's video. It was very, very pro-Russia. The benefit—
this is the video that we watched together—
to Ukraine in this entire document was essentially that the war would stop. Outside of that, Russia was getting everything and more that they've asked for. I mean, in this document, it said that NATO would no longer expand, not just to Ukraine, but like in general, the alliance. That was it. No more countries ever. Russia gets that out of this. It's wild, right? It was giving up Ukrainian territory that Russia had not yet conquered. Like they're trying to take Donetsk. They have not been able to take Donetsk now in 11 years of war. And this agreement just gave it to Russia, territory they have not yet stepped foot on. It dropped all sanctions against Russia and then brought Russia back into the G8, amnesty for war crimes, and quite a bit more. Again,
which, those couple aspects we'll be talking about in just a minute, because those were also proposed, as far as I could see, in the European counterproposal, which, again, I don't understand why we are rewarding Russia in any way, shape, or form, but seemingly that's what's going on. I don't know. We'll see what this 19-point plan is that is allegedly been agreed upon. When that's reported, I don't know if that's put out yet, but we'll see.
Very, very pro-Russia. And there were a lot of people that were pretty upset about this. A lot of U.S. officials upset about this, which led to Secretary Rubio calling a number of U.S. senators to kind of say, hey, guys, listen, don't worry. This isn't our plan. This is the Russian wish list. It's a starting point. Don't get confused. Except that we had multiple.
So it's Marco Rubio literally announcing to his own senators that we're using the Russian propaganda wish list as the starting point for the negotiations. Think about how crazy that. Again, try to put that in like different positions in history, and kind of change around the chess pieces and have that happen, and see how we'd be living today, right? See what would have happened in history a long time ago if we had kind of played the same way that Donald Trump and again we're trying to give in to Putin here.
Senior U.S. officials saying, no, this is ours. We stand by it. We fully agree. Now, this was so pro-Russia, this agreement, that there was some speculation in The Guardian and a couple of different other outlets saying this looks to have been translated directly from Russia. And they pointed—
and this is where we had our not major point of contention, but our disagreement here, where he was more willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And right here, he's doing the reporting to basically prove himself wrong here.
To some different phrases and terminology that isn't really used all that much in the English language. And look, we covered this yesterday in our video, and I said, I don't know that I would take those couple pieces of evidence to suggest that like we just took the Russian plan and presented it as our own. There's no way we would do that. I brushed it aside, I guess incorrectly. I thought there's no way we're that lazy or sloppy or compromised, and that.
But we are that lazy, that sloppy, and that compromised, right? I mean, again, you've done fantastic reporting on this. I just, again, maybe with my maybe deeper knowledge of covering Donald Trump in this administration was able to kind of pinpoint that we shouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt here, and that there is no fucking floor. There is no depths to the level that he's willing to sink, in order to, again, degrade the United States and the relationships we have with our allies. I just kind of, just to hey, little guys here on this YouTube platform can be right as well. It's not always the big guys. So you guys that are subscribed here at Blunt Politics, you're getting your bang, you're getting your money's worth, right? Let's go. We're trying to get to 15,000. I think it's worth that, at least 15,000. So please help us get there. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm Boston Brian. Please, I'd hope to get there by the time I'm 50. I turned 40 today. If we can get to 15,000 by the time I'm 50, I'll be happy, because it's just fucking the slowest roll ever. Jesus. All right, let's dive into the European counter proposal, right, and see what the changes that were made to the to the Russian wish list that we said here. So you can see this Reuters reporting, and I think it might be a little better if we dive into this Ukraine Matters, where he kind of breaks this down as well. Let me see if I can maybe just dive into the points where he discusses this. Yeah, he discusses it here. So let me dive in here. Put this on the screen for you guys. Share this instead. All right. So yes, this is a Ukraine Matters. Georgia Ukraine Matters. Russia's capitulation demand backfires spectacularly. Right. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to dive into where he kind of goes over these, again, the counter proposals from Europe. And then we can see, because we reported the other day on the original 28-point plan, where, the changes have been made. And again, it bothers me that we're giving in this much. So here we go. Check this out. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava.
Least two important consequences. First one is consolidation around Ukraine, consolidation around Zelensky. But more importantly, second part is Europeans realizing that their strategy.
So this is that same thing that we were just showing, the same Reuters article, but he's got these points kind of highlighted, and he's going to go over the ones that he kind of sees fit. So it says from Brussels, November 23rd. You can see here at the top. Below is the text of a European counterproposal to the United States draft 28-point Ukraine peace plan, seen by Reuters on Sunday. The counterproposal, drafted by Europe's E3 powers, Britain, France, and Germany, takes the U.S.'s plan at its basis, but then goes through its point by point with suggested changes and deletions. Right. So these are suggested changes, but it also calls it the U.S. plan. Like, so is Europe, are the people of Britain, France, and Germany ignorant to the fact that this is a fucking Russian? I have a hard time believing it, considering they're the closest to the action. They have most to lose, right? In this fight, they've been at it the longest against this enemy. I just have a hard time. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Are people getting war fatigue? Are they getting sick of it? I hope not. I hope people aren't losing their fight for this, this battle here. But all right, let's go on. We'll talk about it here. It says the text is as follows. 1, Ukraine's sovereignty to be reconfirmed. Love it. Second one here is there will be total and complete non-aggression agreement reached between Russia and Ukraine and NATO. All ambiguities from the last 30 years will be resolved. Oh, sorry, I'm not even showing it on the screen. My apologies. So here, number 2, you can see there, right there. Sorry, it's small on the screen, but I can't zoom in on the video. But it says number 2 is there will be total and complete non-aggression agreement reached between Russia and Ukraine and NATO. All ambiguities from the last 30 years will be resolved. So Russia is to be forgiven of all its war crimes, if I'm reading into that correctly. So all the Ukrainian children they stole, all the civilians that they've fucking purposely targeted. Add war crime after war crime after war crime, going after food, whatever it may be, collective punishment, all of that from the last 30 years is just going to be forgiven. We're going to just erase that and forget about that. Not only that, but we're going to allow them back into the G8, which I believe is another one of these proposals. So all right, I'll let him kind of go on and explain this before I lose my fucking lid here. But yeah, just a lot of still bullshit that I see.
Handling Donald Trump is not really working out that well, because it seemed to be working. It seemed that slowly but surely they were able to convince United States to support Ukraine and move towards supporting Ukraine more and more by buying weapons and sort of like buying the support from United States. Yet receiving this plan openly without warning anyone was basically a gut punch to a lot of them. Now everyone is scrambling to try to mellow the plan down, but I can tell you for sure that the sour taste is in everyone's mouth. But here is the counter proposal from.
Why is anybody from Europe or the United States fighting to rehash this plan that we why wasn't that scrapped immediately? Why wasn't it burnt? And again, sent back to Putin's desk with a list with a number of all the fucking dead Russians that now fertilize Ukrainian soil. I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a different type of fucking fighter. I don't know.
The Europeans to the plan that was presented. And point number 2 is still wrenching my gut. There will be a total of a non-compete, non-aggression agreement reached between Russia and Ukraine, which is fine, but all ambiguities from the last 30 years will be resolved. This is gut sickening, because this is effectively just removing any responsibility for the war crimes from the Russians.
Again, why is that a European counterproposal? Why is that even on the minds of Europeans or NATO or anybody involved in this? Why are we trying to, again, appease and reward Russia for their aggression, for their fucking brutality, for their illegal actions, for the illegal war, for the fucking murders, for the war crimes? What is going on?
So something like this, basically, where Ukrainians were just having to bury their children because it was just Russians decided to strike some of the buildings where civilians lived inside.
Which I will reiterate, they continue to do on a nightly basis.
Of Ukraine. Yeah, that's all fine, all forgotten. Let's just move on. This is absolutely atrocious, and it's to say, for me, this point is twisting and turning all of my insights that this is being proposed by supposedly our European side.
Then it says here, he doesn't have it highlighted, but it says point 3 of the U.S. plan is deleted. A draft of that plan seen by Reuters said there will be the expectation that Russia will not invade its neighbors and NATO will not expand further, end quote. Again, why is anything in here? Why are we leaving this up to the word of the Russians? Why are we leaving this up to the promises of the Russians, where we've seen them broke promise after promise after promise, agreement after agreement after agreement? Why? What are we doing?
Number 6, size of Ukrainian military to be capped at 800,000 in peacetime.
And then it says, number 4 here, after a peace agreement is signed, a dialogue between Russia and NATO will convene to address all security concerns and create a de-escalatory environment to ensure global security and increase the opportunity for connectivity and future economic opportunity. Again, why are we giving Russia the opportunity for future economic advancement? So that they can rebuild the military, rebuild the economy, and do this again at an even stronger point. What are we doing?
That is totally fine. I know that capping of the military should not be there, but in generally speaking, 800,000.
So apparently that has changed, because he's now on to number 6 here, which is number 5. I should reiterate, is Ukraine will receive robust security guarantees. Again, not specified, not explicit, not very definitive as to what those security guarantees are. So I don't like that as well. And then he goes on to number 6, size of Ukrainian military to be capped at 800,000 in peacetime. So I'm not sure how that in peacetime, how that relates to, if a war were to continue, how, I guess that would just all be null and void and they could do what they want. But again, that seemingly was changed, as we just saw in that latest report, to, Ukraine doesn't have to have anything, right? There's no limit for their Ukrainian military, as you see here in the new 19-point peace plan that they've just initiated, apparently, allegedly, that I'm not buying as well. But yeah, so and then number 7, Ukraine joining NATO depends on consensus of NATO members, which does not exist at this point, but still that gives the option, not only still to Ukraine, but also the NATO members on whether or not they accept Ukraine, thus taking the power out of Russia's hands, making it so they don't have to enshrine in the Ukrainian constitution that they will never join NATO, which is a good thing. I like seeing that changed. Number 8 is NATO agrees to not permanently station troops under its command in Ukraine in peacetime. Again, no problem with that. NATO fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. That's something that didn't change. Number 10, U.S. guarantees that mirrors Article 5. I like that. That's somewhat of a reiteration of a security guarantee, right? U.S. guarantee that mirrors Article 5. Article 5 saying that if any NATO partner, any NATO member was attacked, that any and all members would have to come to the aid. Number 10A is U.S. to receive compensation for the guarantee. Don't like that. Why we have to profit from the war, I'm not sure. B, if Ukraine invades Russia, it forfeits the guarantee. That's fine. I don't think Ukraine has any intentions on invading Russia anytime soon. C, if Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to a robust, coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be restored and any kind of recognition for the new territory and all other benefits from this agreement will be withdrawn. Okay. What else? Ukraine is eligible for EU membership, which will get short-term preferred market access to Europe while this is being evaluated. Great. Robust global redevelopment package for Ukraine, including but not limited to, and it goes on to list a bunch of the redevelopment packages, which is great. So let's see if I can go on to where he switches here to the next group of things here. which is, yeah, right here. There we go.
12, robust global redevelopment package for Ukrainians, including but not limited to, and then there is listing of a lot of investments that goes to Ukraine. This is good. Ukraine needs a proper rebuilding plan, and Ukraine will become an extremely prosperous nation.
Here's another huge point of contention, though. Another huge point of contention here is number 13. Russia to be progressively reintegrated into the global economy. Why? Until they have proven, right? Why don't we set a date of 5 to 10 years? After 5 or 10 years of them, I don't know, showing that they can fucking behave, showing that they aren't going to be on a murderous fucking plunderous rage of trying to overrun their neighbors. Maybe after that, we can think about reintegrating them into the global economy. Wouldn't that be more sufficient? Wouldn't that be more, something along the lines of, giving a demand to the aggressor in this situation? And then again here, 13A is sanction relief will be discussed. Why? That should be something, again, set into the future. And then C, Russia to be invited back into the G8. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Why? And that's something coming from the European counterproposal.
Number 13, Russia to progressively reintegrate into global economy. Again, this makes me absolutely twist my guts on the inside, but at least it's not going to be like, oh, instantly we just wave away all of the parts about Russia, and Russia just gets all of the benefits, though it does say that US will enter some kind of meaningful partnership with Russia. But sanctions relief will be discussed and agreed upon phases on one-by-one cases. This is okay. Russia to be invited back into G8. I better not comment. Ukraine will be fully reconstructed and compensated financially, including through the Russian sovereign assets that will remain frozen with Russia.
Because you can see how this is being reported here, guys. Let me throw this on the screen, right? Look how it's being reported. Live updates, U.S. Special Envoy to meet Putin as momentum builds on Ukraine peace. Zelensky says Ukraine ready to advance peace plan, will discuss disputed points. So that is like, that right there is contradictory, right? That one of them, the first one that I showed you, said they had already agreed. This one says that Ukraine is ready to advance the peace plan, but will discuss disputed points, which also means there is no fucking deal to be signed yet. Trump says talks with Putin, Zelensky await final peace deal. Like you can see how it's being reported. U.S. official says Ukrainian delegation has agreed with U.S. on terms of potential. Like, what does that mean? I don't understand. I'm again not buying it in this. I'm not buying it in this aspect. I want to see if they go through. Have they reported what the 19 points are in particular? Not that I see, but this says U.S. official told overnight. Shut up. U.S. official told ABC News on Tuesday that a Ukrainian delegation has agreed with the United States on terms of a potential peace deal. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll held secret talks on Monday with Russian delegation in Abu Dhabi to follow up on the weekend's talks with Ukraine in Geneva that were intended to move Ukraine's peace process forward. The Ukrainians have agreed to the peace deal. There are some minor details to be sorted out, but they have agreed to a peace deal. I don't know. Again, that's coming from U.S. sources. We'll see. We'll see. Again, we'll see if anything further to be reported today, later on in the day. If so, maybe I'll pop back on. If not, we got 2 shows tomorrow to cover it. So again, trying to keep you guys as up to date as humanly possible with this information, with what's going on. But yeah, kind of changing fast. You can see the kind of conflicting reporting that's going on. I don't see anything now that says that I can see the peace plan, the 19 points. Let's see, does this have it? What to know. This doesn't seem like the points of the plan at all. So yeah, I don't see anything that would, lead me to say I could kind of show you what the exact points are. But we saw 3 of them reported on that newscast. We saw what the European counterproposal was. So somewhere in between there, but we'll see if I can kind of dig up, in the meantime, what's actually going on, what's actually happening. But yeah, I just want to kind of show you a little bit more of what's going on the front lines too, because let's take a look at this deep state map. Because a lot of reporting here from Russia, from different sources, different people on Telegram, whatever, that they have taken the entirety of Pokrovsk. They now own and control the entirety, 100% of Pokrovsk. But as you can see here from the deep state map, this is the most up-to-date deep state map that you can find. Pokrovsk, this is from 11/24/2025, which was yesterday. And then you can see the city of Pokrovsk here, obviously the red being the Russian territory, having been determined to have been taken. You can see here, this is why I like the deep state map. You can kind of see day by day the different little portions that have been taken. You know, if you watch this area here, you can see that taken in that day. See that area, how it kind of changed. Now, if we go up to the 24th, this is the most up-to-date one that you can find. But I mean, I can kind of see how this is going to be, could be reported both ways. And again, a lot of people also correctly reporting that the fog of war is heavy, is thick on both sides now. Both Ukraine and Russia have a reason, have a purpose, have, reason behind whether or not they would kind of hold back information, not report some type of information, or, kind of report it in a different way. So we have to kind of sift through the bullshit. But I can see where it would be reported that the Russians, I can see where the Russians would say they have 100%, because you don't necessarily have to have every house taken, right? Like if you got enough men in within close proximity, and you got, fire lines set up, artillery in certain positions, then you can pretty much say that you have control. Like if you have, say a house on one side of the road and a house on the other side of the road, but nothing set up on the road, but you got machine guns pointed at you can say you have control of the road without having men on the road, right? But you can also see here where there is a pretty good, I don't want to say a pretty good amount, but still an amount of the city still not under direct Russian control, right? Which, if people are suggesting there are still Ukrainian forces in the area fighting, that would also, be something that you could probably find evidence to suggest or back up or corroborate. But if you see the gray area here, where basically this is like the contended area, red being, the area already taken, gray being area contended, you can see how it's basically linked up, right? You can see how on this side of where this is gray, and then over here where this is gray, right? And then this pretty much encircles not only Mirrad and Svitol and Rivne, but pretty much Pokrovsk as well. So again, not to sugarcoat, not here to bullshit anybody. It's a desperate situation. It's not a good situation for the Ukrainian military, but we also want to be correct on the reporting either way, and give it to you as we see it, give you to the way the facts are on the ground. So you can see, which way the Russians are attacking, obviously trying to enclose and encircle this little area, which is probably their main goal. So, you can see, if you got somebody here on this road and you got somebody here in the fucking corner of this field, even though you don't have anybody in this field, you can pretty much say you got that field locked up, right? I mean, I don't think it's any secret to anybody on that regard. So, you can kind of see how on both sides people could use or have evidence or video or maps to suggest both sides of this equation. But yes, just kind of the latest here from Pokrovsk and what's happening on the front lines. Desperate, dire. You can see the entirety of the city is now under basically direct threat. So we'll see what happens here. But just another reason why I don't believe that Russia would be even willing or able in this position to, give in to Ukrainian demands, which is why I still have a little bit of skepticism to the recent reporting. But yeah, you can see here as we kind of zoom out how kind of important this area is. If you kind of, as soon as you get past there, the next big kind of places you get into are Zaporizhia, Dnipro, in that area. This kind of, you got Kramatorsk and Sloviansk up top here in the north, Orikhiv down here in the south. But, if you see there, it's a lot of kind of smaller villages. I know you got some other places in between here that are showing up, but this is a highly contested area in between Zaporizhia and where the Russian troops are right now. So still some battling to be done. This isn't in any way over by any shape by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm sure you can be damn sure that Ukrainian has defenses set up all in this area, this pocket here, not only protecting Zaporizhia, but also as you go up north to Vilnyansk. As you go up north here to Snelnovkovye, Velosevivka, Chapilne, definitely a lot of these places, now under definitely a bigger threat, a more substantial threat than they were before. So yes, just some more on the ground reporting to kind of give you, the up to date as to the best of my ability as I can find on the, with the sources that we have to report on the front line on the battlefield here. The area of Pokrovsk here, This is the latest. This is what's going on. So, obviously a dire situation there for any Ukrainian troops still in the area. A dire situation overall, added to not only the peace deals, the peace talks, but also the ongoing talks of the corruption case going on inside of Ukraine, which it has to be weighing heavily upon the minds and shoulders of Volodymyr Zelensky. So I just want to was Brian born in Ukraine? What? No, nope. I certainly was not. Why do you ask that? Just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity. Because of my love or passion for the people of Ukraine? Maybe? Not sure. But no, I was not. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. No, I was born in the Boston area. There's no way I can get rid of an accent that thick. You don't think you'd pick up some fucking sort of Ukrainian some Ukrainian accent in there somewhere? But no, just to kind of, like I said, give you the most up-to-date information I could possibly give you this morning. Excuse me, sorry. So, reporting this morning that that about this peace deal, the peace talks, the agreement. Again, I hold that with a lot of skepticism. I still think there are a lot of steps that both the Ukrainian parliament would have to okay, and also the Russians would have to okay, that I don't think they'd be willing to okay on either side. But again, time will tell. We'll have to see. Again, as reported, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky seemingly wishing and requesting a meeting with Donald Trump sometime later on this week. So time will tell. We'll see if I can pull up between now and tomorrow on the show, maybe like a more detailed kind of like this, with the exact 19 points of that peace plan, and we can go over it and dissect it and figure out where this leaves Ukraine, what position that leaves them in, and where we can hope to go from there. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys. We have run out of time here on my 40th birthday episode of Blunt Politics. I thank you guys for your ongoing passion, your ongoing aggression, your fight in this battle that we now find ourselves in. Thank you so much for supporting independent media. Like I continue to reiterate, I'm trying to do this the right way with you guys, and just, solely based on your support, solely based on, your financial, capabilities and abilities to find some sort of enjoyment, some sort of I don't know. I hate saying entertain, but some sort of benefit to this show, and some sort of benefit to watching the show, whether it is passing time, entertainment, laughter, whatever it may be. I appreciate you for supporting. Let's get into thanking some people here on whether it be YouTube. There's also a PayPal. I always forget to put this up, but just in case you guys don't have YouTube, and maybe you might have PayPal, there's also this. I'll put it up in the corner for a couple minutes. I appreciate you guys. I really do. So much for the birthday wishes as well, but also for just your general cooperation, your general support of this channel. So thank you. Text messages from Jen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Tell Eric I said thank you as well. From Jess and Tom, you guys are fantastic. Everybody in my family, I appreciate you for reaching out as well. Let me see if I can get into the old Venmos and start thanking you fantastic people. If anybody was kind enough to kind of, hop onto the show. Oh, Jesus, you guys have been incredible. All right, so again, I'm not going to give anybody's full name out, but Travis, thank you so much for the 20, brother. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes as well. I really do appreciate it. Elaine, thank you so much. Jim, thank you so much. Moms, thank you so goddamn much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Johanna, thank you so much. I hope I'm saying that right and it's not Johanna. If not, I do apologize for butchering that. Jamie, thank you so much. And Nancy, thank you. Unbelievable. You guys are just incredibly supportive, incredibly generous, especially in these difficult times, these uncertain times that we find ourselves in financially, economically, politically. So, I mean, for you guys to be this generous and this, supportive of, a small channel like this with an idiot behind the mic and the camera like me, I couldn't be more happy and more, proud of the community that we've built here. So thank you to everybody on YouTube and everybody that contributed before that. Linda, Damon, Jenny Faye, Ricky, all of you guys, I really do appreciate it. Claudia, all of you people have gone above and beyond in my eyes in supporting this community. Let me hop onto YouTube and start thanking all of you fabulous people. Maybe tomorrow. Let's go. Thank you so much for the happy birthday wishes. Congratulations on being here for 5 months as well. Welcome to the 40s Club. Oh man, I just don't want to feel like I'm in the 40s club. I know I technically am in the 40s club. I don't feel like it right now, and I hope I continue upon that path of feeling good, feeling healthy, and hopefully looking a little younger than 40. I hope. But thank you so much, Maybe Tomorrow. I appreciate you. Petrazi, thank you so much for being here. You've been here for a long time. We appreciate you. Congratulations on being here for 17 months, and thank you for being here for 17 months. Thank you for your happy birthday wishes. We very much appreciate you. Same thing goes for Deb as well. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Please make sure we're thanking Deb in the chat for her generous contributions to the channel. Same thing with Roxanne for her contributions. Happy 25th birthday, Boston Brian. Exactly. Roxanne's got it right. She knows the idea. I got to get my license changed. I got to go out and get a fake ID now again. But thank you, Roxanne. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Slacks. I appreciate you as well. Like I said, I try to come up with different words to thank you guys and show my show of appreciation. But I just, I continuously come up with the same thing, which is just I appreciate it. I do. There's not much more to say other than that. I hope you can see, in my face, in my eyes, that I mean it. So Slacks, thank you. Congratulations on being here for 17 months. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you so much for your kind and generous wishes to the chat as well. That goes for Just Julie, 15 months. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Nina with the $20 super sticker. Shout out to Nina. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. Thank you to Kit. Happy birthday wishes again. Thank you very, very much. All of you guys. Mark, you guys have been fantastic. Mark says turkey. I thought that was Pete Hegseth. No, he's got a few more years to go before he's got that type of waddle that he's got to worry about. But Mark, I appreciate you. You've been huge over the last, a long time now. So I appreciate it. And again, it's appreciated. It's recognized. So thank you again. As I say it, you just prove me right every second. MAGA, make attorneys, get attorneys. Again, make attorneys, failed attorneys but that would be MAFA, so that wouldn't work. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're going, and I appreciate you, Mark. Again, Jesus Christ, again, making me just truthful, just making everything I say, proving my case every point. Boston Brian, pace yourself. You're 40 now. Happy birthday. Believe me, I've lived, I would say, and my dad, who's typically watching and in the chat, can probably attest, I have lived a few lifetimes in the 40 years that I have been alive. I'm very fortunate, let's just say, to still be able to walk upright on 2 feet, whether that be from sports injuries or just dumb things that I've done with my friends or car accidents or whatever it may be. I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to be in this position. It's partly in thanks to you guys and your help and creating this space and allowing me to give up my career as a plumber because of how important I saw this mission, how important I saw this, and how impactful it would be not only in my life, regardless of what choices I made, but on lives of people that I care about as well. So I appreciate it. Are you here again with another one? Jesus. Musk X account equals Russia. Mark, huge day for you, brother. I appreciate you. And another one? Good grief. Save some for the turkey, brother. How are you going to afford the stuffing? Why does Elon do anything? Mush brain idiot. Yeah, I would love to hear your take again after this live is posted. Feel free to hit up the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on why you think Elon implemented that policy of exposing that eventually exposed the right-wing accounts as being from anywhere but the United States. And again, please subscribe to the channel, if not for what happened on the show and what you saw on the show, but just for the reason, right? If not for that, but just for the reason that I did not show you the text messages, the so-called poems that were released by RFK Jr.'s fucking lover's husband or whatever the fuck. Just be happy. Just be thankful on this Thanksgiving week that I did not expose you to those text messages. I saved you from that. I will suffer myself in those, having known and read them and watched them, seen the reporting on it. I will suffer by myself. I will not subject you to those because no man or woman needs to be subjected to anything that fucking cringeworthy, gross, stomach churning, any of that, any of the adjectives and descriptions you could put on that probably fit, but you don't need to be subjected to that. So please, if you don't subscribe to the channel for anything you've seen thus far, please subscribe to the channel just for that reason. But yes, thank you, Mark. Please, I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you so much to Carol. Thank you so much to Bethany as well. Happy 40th, Brian. I love you right back to you guys. Thank you so much. You've been so kind. You really have. And I can't thank you enough. Mama Brooke, thank you for all that you do. The mods as well. I have to agree with Mama Brooke. You guys are fantastic. You guys deserve all the accolades and all the appreciation that comes your way because, you know, without you guys, this channel is nothing. And without you guys, other channels are nothing. So thank you to the mods. Thank you to the chat. Ruben, for the couple gifted subs. You guys are fantastic. Ruben, I appreciate you. Love seeing you here in the chat, my man. Chantel, thank you so much. Happy birthday, boy. You need more live and short to boost your numbers. No pressure. See, I think I need less live. I think I need more like videos and shorts. You're 100% right on, and less live. But, you know, we'll see. We can figure out what works. I appreciate your input. Thank you so much for your contribution. I will try anything that works on this, except for, again, unless I'm, you know, pinned down and have absolutely no way to feed myself, taking sponsors, right? So thank you, Chantel. I appreciate that. Ruben, again, thank you so much for your kind contributions. Your $5 goes a long way, my man. It really does. Mark's back in action. Mark is he's just having a day. Fucking MVP. Happy birthday, Boston Brian. Wishing you democracy, much happiness. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your huge day. Thank you for your generosity. That goes for Helix Fire as well with the $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. Yakov, what's up, my brother? Is Portland on fire today? Let me know. I apologize if you got to, you know, tread through fires to get to the pharmacy today there in Portland. But, you know, it is what it is. You chose it, not me. But thank you, Yakov. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for supporting here on Patreon, everywhere. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you, Ruben, again for the $5 super sticker. And then to round it out today on my birthday is, what's that? Abin, how do you say that? A-B Enerex? Abinerex. Binerex. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the MAD 50. Now, what is that? What is that? What am I not thinking of? MAD. What's MAD? Hit me in the chat because you guys are definitely smarter and more intelligent than I am most of the time. What's the MAD? What kind of currency is that? I'm gonna wait till somebody answers because I'm dying to know what I don't think I've seen that one before. MAD. That would be like Moroccan something. Moisture associated damage. Why? Is that because I'm 40 now? That's what I got to worry about? Moisture associated damage. No, but MOD, what is that? Is that, I don't know. All right. Well, let me know in the chat. I appreciate it. No, I'm not worried about how much it is. I'm just curious what the MOD pot. Curious what country. I like hearing where people are watching from. Macedonian dollar? That'd be fucking cool. Wouldn't that be cool? Can't really think of anything else, right? Moroccan dirhams. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I appreciate that. Mad Mac and Fish Delight were all over that one. Holy shit. That's awesome. That's incredible. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to hold on to those as a souvenir. That's my first Moroccan dirham ever received. That's amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for contributing. We appreciate you. Hope you find a nice place in the chat for yourselves, and I hope you have a wonderful, well, it's not Thanksgiving anywhere else, but I hope you have a wonderful week anyway. But anybody that is celebrating Thanksgiving with friends and family, I appreciate you guys. We will be popping on Thanksgiving. We have a Thursday show, so anybody wondering, mods, if that's okay with you, anybody that can't make it, don't worry about it. We'll just kind of come on and maybe do a, I don't know, Q&A or just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we got a doubleheader tomorrow, Wednesday. So be here at 1 o'clock tomorrow on the East Coast. That is 10 a.m. here on the West Coast. And then we got our tomorrow nightly show at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 here on the West Coast. But yeah, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. I'm going to go out and start celebrating my birthday like a 40-year-old would. Thank you guys for your birthday wishes. Thank you for your kind contributions, your kind words. I really do appreciate you for supporting this channel. Let's try to get ourselves to 15,000 and beyond. We're trying to get to 1,000 members as well. There's patreon.com, Venmo, PayPal, all of it. I appreciate you guys. Any way you guys contribute, I would be very appreciative of it. So again, stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Make sure you're getting out of your seats, get into the streets, find your nurse protest, find your nurse rally. Let's fucking go. Thank you to everybody that I was out in DC and other places supporting, either in the, even in the smaller community, gatherings. I appreciate you guys. Post it online. I'll be happy to share it. But yeah, until our doubleheader tomorrow, again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, and I shall see you later. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you again for all of your kindness. I appreciate you. All right. Peace. Thank you guys. Thank you, mods. Let that fucking happen, can we? We can't let that fucking happen, can we? Happy 40th birthday. Glad to have you with us. Love your passion and humor. Enjoy your special day. Yes, 5-minute shorts boost that algo. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so not only for, your time and, the bullshit that you put up with in the chat, but, thank you for also being so generous as to contribute to the show as well. And I think I missed one more too. I don't want to leave anybody out, especially on my birthday. But yes, I did. DPD as well. Thank you so much for the $2 contributions. Happy birthday. And no belching, wink, twink. Well, that's going to be tough because there's going to be some beers. There's going to be some beers consumed today. There's going to be some alcoholic bevies consumed today and throughout the week. It's Thanksgiving. I mean, it's just what we do. We're Irish. What are you going to do? All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Thank you, Tiff, Tanya, Locara, Adam, Mark, all of you fantastic people for all that you do. I really do appreciate you all. And I will see you tomorrow for the doubleheader. All right. I'll see you. Peace. Remember, I'm in my 40s now, so
nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing.
It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.
God bless the United States.
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
Damn near killed him.
You're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated.
Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses.
We're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you, WW. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that, W. Everybody. Peace. All right, I'm back. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming to the rescue. Who'd I miss? I don't miss people, do I? Let's see here. Ruben, Chantel, Ruben again, Mark. Then we did Helix Fire. And then we did Yakov. Then we did Ruben. And then we did the Macedonians. And then I got to you, DP. Oh, I did. WW. But that was it, right? I didn't miss anybody else, right? Because I don't want to feel bad. I'll be sitting here at the computer all fucking day going through it. You get everybody? That's everybody? All right. One last time. One last time I'm out of here. Can I get out? Bye. Later. Peace. Thank you.
Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was. The Battle of Gettysburg, what an unbelievable. I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. Army manned the air. It ran the rampart. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Go fuck yourself.
Referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Get off my plane.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
We always do about this time.
Is there anything worse than white people?
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see? Revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
What in the hell was that all about?
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. The rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
He says rectum damn near killed him.
Yesterday's a hard word for me. You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become a...
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
No words. I have the best words. I have the... But there's no better word than stupid.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Where you going? Nowhere.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job!
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones.
All right, guys, take it easy. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you support other independent channels. Nick right here. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Bye, Mod.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.